Hi, this is Jonathan Eiler-Worvey for the Indaba Fieldwork platform, and today we're going to talk about knowledge management in the Indaba platform. So let me log into our builder site as one of our field staff. This is one of our reporters. And when you log into the system, you get a very contextual view of what's going on. This first page is called the Your Content tab. Is basically just information that's relevant to what you're working on right now. So you can see this reporter has a assignment here to respond to some comments on her notebook from her editor. You can see here's the content that she's been working from, and then below it you can see all of the content that is in flight with people on her team. Her team in this case is a group of reporters. Now, all of these lists are dynamically generated. It's not sort of put there by any person, but is in response to things that are happening with the workflow for this project. The review response has been sent to her by her editor. So when the editor has questions, they change something on the document, then they send it back to this reporter to work on. And then this Your Content box just shows pieces of content that this particular user has touched. So anytime you edit a notebook or submit a document or anything like that, that's going to get added to your content. So you don't just see something while you're working on it, but you get some continuity between what's available to work on right now and where those documents go from there to the rest of the workflow. And then lastly, you have this team list where you can see all the documents from people that are doing the same kind of work as a way of really kind of getting some visibility into what the larger picture is doing without giving them access to everything. So in this case, the reporter is working just on a journalism project, so they're just seeing what's coming from the reporters. They're not seeing indicators and data and that sort of thing. It's a way of sort of throttling down all of the available information into just the things that are related to this user. Now, when you're a manager, you don't just want to see the contextual view, you sometimes want to see the big picture as well and see a really comprehensive list. So let me log in as me. And you see I also get a contextual view. I can see I've got some cases open. I've also got a really long list of content that I've touched as I've been managing the project. But if you click over from Your Content, you see I have a tab called All Content. This is controllable by roles, so some roles will have access to this, others won't. There's filters up here, so you can add different filters and say, just show me things related to Albania, and you get a filtered view there. But what you get here in the All Content tab is an access to all of the content in the system in a really big comprehensive list. And with that, you get metrics on what the deadlines are, you get lists of people that are attached to it, you get cases that are open if there are any. So again, we're trying to manage both styles of interaction. One is very contextual and driven by what I'm working on. The other is very comprehensive and stable, so I know that I can always go to this view and find any given document that's in the system. Now, a big part of the relationship management has to do with the workflow and getting assignments out of that workflow and to the right people. Now, you can do this manually by saying, all right, in advance, we're going to tell exactly who's going to work on different parts of this. This is important for like authors or whoever's originating the content. You usually want to have it assigned to a specific person. But later on in the process, where you're doing things like reviewing, fact-checking, peer review, you might have a more dynamic process where you want to have a bucket of available work and let people claim work out of that as they're ready to do so. So this is actually really useful for managers to have a queue where you can see as our documents are coming into these queues, they're being grabbed by our managers and assigned to them. Now, I have permission to change that and assign it to someone else if I wanted to. I can also set priority for each item in the queue, so I don't necessarily have to assign every document when I come and interact with it, but I can go and look at, say, there's 40 documents that just came in the door. I can log into the system and say, okay, why don't I set these as high priority, set others as low priority, and then let our staff come in and claim them based on that information. For whoever's available, they'll claim the documents and work on them. So again, we're trying to manage this giant list of information that we have on the All Content tab, all these different pieces of content that we're working on, and really get them to the right people at the right time in a way that is fluid but is also sort of predictable and stable and useful to managers who need to see the big picture. So when you add it all up, that's kind of how we do knowledge management on Indaba and get people access to the documents they need to get their work done.